What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Truth be known, this is like my fifth take trying to do this video for you. I'm tired. I'm fresh off the lake. I fished till dark, ran an afternoon trip with my good buddy Mike, and a great time as always. The fishing was, we'll get into it, but the fishing was good. The food was great. I always get more excited about the food Mike's going to bring for the outing more than the actual fishing, and he did not disappoint this time. And but the fishing was great, which we'll get into. I got home as bad as I just want to go take a shower and go to bed because I've got a nice quiet house. My wife took off with the children and her parents up to the camp in Georgia for the long weekend. So I'm a single man for a few days, which means I'm just going to sleep in. That's really the only thing that changes. So as bad as I want to go do that, I wanted to get you guys out this fishing report video because I haven't done one in a while. And there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of things going on out on the lake that have changed and changed very quickly. Again, this is like my fifth shot at this. My sinuses are going nuts. So we're just going to kind of cut out the beginning. Let's just say this. For the last 4 days, 5 days, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, the fishing on the lake was awful. We were still getting over that cold snap that just bombarded the entire country. Our fish have never dealt with water temps as cold as they got. Our bass only live about 8 years, 9 years max. The last time the water got this cold was, back in 2010. So our fish were in total shock. Took them a long time to recuperate as far as to come back into these areas, to turn on, to feed it all. Our event last Saturday, 4 pounds got a check, which is crazy. And all the winning bags were coming out of a deep water hole down on the south end of the lake where the water temperature wasn't as affected. I'm fine saying that now where it was 1 because I don't even know if you can get in there because the water levels is dropping so quick. I think we're right at about 12.5 foot right now. So be very careful if you're running around out there and you're unfamiliar with the lake. Even if you are familiar with the lake, if you are familiar with the lake, still take your time. I saw a new hazard out there on the northeast side and edge of the box on the south end of Harney, I'd call it, between there and Bird. Someone marked it with a traffic cone and some PVC. Looked like some kind of wood object. I don't know what it was, a tree stump or whatever. So be careful. It's getting low. Take your time getting around out there. Well, like I said, the fishing was just super slow. So the toughest fishing I've ever seen in my last 10 years of fishing Okeechobee. Had a few trips where people never got a bite. Me fishing with them just never had a bite. It was terrible. Until this past Wednesday, I went out just trying to look around. I had to try and find something, have trips booked. And I had a morning where I could get out and fish from probably 7:30 to noon and never had a bite. And thought, man, I don't know when this is going to turn on. We kept saying, any day now, they're going to, any day they're going to turn on. And about 12 o'clock, I started seeing some fish swim around, which was a good sign. Couldn't get them to bite. Picked up a burner worm and started just swimming that around. Started getting a bite here and there. And then it got totally overcast. The wind switched out of the east. It was, lower pressure. It got fishy. And I ended up catching a 5 on a frog, which felt awesome. And then my very next catch was a 1/9, a 9.11 pounder, which was crazy, which was awesome. And then I had to leave. I had to come home and watch the kids while Breezy went out and ran errands. Had a trip yesterday, and I told my people, Justin and Paige, if you're watching, I said, I don't want to jinx it, but you guys might have hit it right on the head. And they did. As far as giant bag of fish, maybe we didn't have that, but they probably had 24 pounds yesterday on their best 5, and we only fished till about 2 o'clock, I guess it was. So fished from 8 to 2, and caught a bunch of fish, and then fished this afternoon with my buddy Mike, and we probably had about the same. Caught fish, and just never caught a real giant, but just compared to what it was, we're on a completely different body of water. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is because the way the lake was setting up, I was talking to a bunch of other guys, a bunch of different anglers, and came to the conclusion, I was like, they're going to start doing this. And what's going on is they're coming up to spawn, but they're going to do it across the entire lake, and that's kind of what's going on right now. There's really no hot spot. There's no secret spot. There's no anything. And I don't really like giving out exact areas anyway. It's just not what I do, but I know that there are being fish caught. My phone today while I was out there with Mike was just past customers, people I know blow me up, showing me pictures of all the fish they were catching. And big fish, big females moving up. And they're literally catching them from south to north. And what we're noticing is they're kind of everywhere, but not everywhere at the same time. There's definitely little stretches, little pockets of fish that are definitely moving around in numbers. I mean, you might fish 100 yards and you might get bit in 10 of those yards, if that makes sense. And that's what would happen. Biggest thing I could tell you right now, if you get a bite, if you have shallow water anchors, put them down. Pull down and fish that spot. The water's getting very shallow. The water's getting very clear. So the less you move around, the better. And you can't catch them all. That's kind of what it comes down to. Also, if you're getting bit in an area, even though it looks like everything else you just fished, there's something these fish are picking out why they want to be in a certain spot. Me and Mike today, we fished from noon to dark. So I was like, we're going to be there out there at a great time of the day. They're going to chew. Well, I kept trying to expand on areas, but really we came down to there was 2 living room size spots that these fish wanted to be in, which was strange. And every day over the last 3 days, it's been a little different. You just have to really let the fish tell you what's going on. The predominant bait for us has been a burner worm, and back at you, swimming a burner worm, dragging it. I caught that 9 the day I found those fish on a gambler popping frog and along with a 5. But since then, I have not been able to get a single bite. Excuse me, I was sneezing. I would not be able to get a single bite on a frog. Why? I don't know. We're fishing shallow. We're fishing out towards the outside edge. The water's clean. The water's warm. But they don't want to come up. I think they're right in the middle of a spawn right now. So dragging that burner worm across the bed has been a player. Mixing in a little bit of pitching and flipping. But the predominant bait has definitely been a burner worm. I don't know how many me and Mike went through, and I don't know how many Paige and Justin went through yesterday. But numbers are great. All the fish look healthy. All the pictures being sent to me, all the fish are fat, fresh lake fish coming in. So here's the deal. The spawn is on. They're around. Put your trolling motor in the water and fish. Like I said, there's legitimately fish everywhere. I had people just sending me like, oh, it's the best day I've ever had, or we're finally catching them. I've been down here all winter and it's finally happening, which is really cool to see. And I'm glad everyone's enjoying Lake Okeechobee, because that's awesome. But there's really no specific place. If I tell you a specific place, it might hurt you, because you might run past another group or 5 or 6 other groups of fish that you didn't even know were there. My brother just went out today and tried fishing just random areas and caught them everywhere he stopped. So there's legitimately fish just spread out across the lake, which is awesome to see. Good bottom. Just look for good bottom. That's probably the biggest clue I could give you. Like everywhere that I've been stopping, if it's got good bottom. I literally laid down in an area yesterday with my customers because the fog was so bad. And I said, I'm not running in this. It's not safe. We're just gonna tuck up in here and wait for the fog to lift. And Paige on my boat, she caught a 5-pounder. That was our first fish. And again, it had all the ingredients: clean bottom, clean water, and just fish slow. Dragging a bait, whether it's a burner worm, whether it's a crawl, if you like, a ribbon tail worm, whether it's whatever, a fluke. I think she caught that one dragging a Gambler Super Stud on the bottom. Just dragging it because you're just trying to blind fish a bed. You're trying to drag it across a bed. That's the best way to do it. There's some really big fish being caught. Again, I caught a 9. My buddy Roy had 35 pounds today on a scale, which was crazy. His big fish was an 812. So there are some really big ones moving in. How long it's going to last, I don't know, but I really think it's just going to stay consistent from here on out. That makes sense? I mean, the full-on bite, like I said, it wasn't as good today as I thought it might be. You know, this late afternoon, I thought me and Mike would really tear them up. We caught fish, but it wasn't like I really thought it would be. But things could change. Things can only, they might get way better. And the other thing I noticed is it seemed like talking to people from all around the lake is the particular spot I was fishing the last 2 days, I think our fish are on their way out. I think the day I found them, they were in doing the thing, and now today they're starting to get out of there, whereas I talked to other people where it seems like they're just now coming in. There's a high school tournament tomorrow on the lake. I talked to some high schoolers. They found them locked on beds coming to them all over the lake as well. So depending on where you're at, they're in different stages. So that's something just to keep in mind. But it's great news. I mean, it's awesome. We're catching them and excited about it. I got some cool footage to show you guys too. It won't be in this video, but I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to do a highlight reel or what have you, but just if you don't follow me on social media, on Instagram, I'll be posting some reels on there, some cool fish catches, but I'm sure I'll get them on here too. Next, a lot of you know, I've had so many people tell me when they get on the boat, the first video they ever saw from me was my map video, where I did like a map tour of Lake Okeechobee. And that's crazy. It's probably my most popular video. I'm not sure how many views it has now. And, if I'm being fully transparent with you guys, I deleted that video before I posted it. I was like, this was the stupidest video ever. No one's going to watch this. That was just me with a couple of beers, bored at home by myself like I am right now, and just made that video. I deleted it. So, you know what? Maybe I'll post it. And luckily I did not delete it completely off my phone. I went to recently delete it, uploaded it again, and uploaded it to YouTube, and that was my biggest video. But I'm glad it's helped so many of you guys out. So many of you guys asked what map that was, and I didn't know at the time. I had to literally look, and I found it. I said Mark Evans makes this, and I think Mark, if you're watching, he actually commented on the video, and then I've gotten to meet Mark several times since that video. And he kind of did a relaunch of his maps here. He went out. Gosh, my sinuses are draining. I apologize, you guys. He actually went out and kind of revamped the map, made it more updated because there's been so many changes on the lake over the last few years. And he did it at a 12.5-foot lake level. Okay, so that's awesome. So everything on the new map is, it's obviously it's up to date as far as the grass and stuff, but it's at a 12.5-foot lake level, which is where we're at now. So he relaunched these maps. They're in all the local tackle shops. They're in Rollins, they're in Lake and Trail, they're in Fast Break. And what he did was he came out with this one, the Mac Daddy, a giant one. I saw it in Fast Break the other day when I was in there. I said, that is so cool. And I woke up this morning and Mark actually gifted me one of these as a thank you, because he said that last video helped sell so many maps, and this thing is badass. So Mark, thank you so much. I'm so glad it fit in the back seat of my truck, and this thing's awesome. So Mark Evans, I guess it's Mark Evans Bass Maps. He makes them for all different bodies of water, I believe, in Florida. He guides on Toho, he says. So pretty awesome. This thing is super cool. I literally got home and hung it right up. So the reason I wanted to showcase to you, because I think it's awesome. This will obviously be in a lot of my future videos, but something pretty crazy is going on. I'm getting a lot of texts from customers and things like that. A lot of people know by now, if you're watching this, I'm trying to get this so the light is on the map, is that the lake is literally on fire. I was fishing yesterday and noticed some smoke coming from the north end of the lake. I said, that's a little bit small to be like a prescribed burn. Apparently, from the rumor mill, an airboat and or a duck boat blew up, caught fire back in the marsh, and ended up catching the marsh on fire. It has since spread and is burning like crazy. The flames are pretty nuts. I was running down the shoal today and could look north and could see the actual flames from the fire from that far away, which is nuts. And where it's burning, you got Pierce Canal, which I always refer to as Buckhead Canal. And apparently, from what I can tell now, it looks like it's burning all the way down to the Indian Prairie Canal. Huge fire. I mean, it's it's burning like crazy. It's like tripled in size since last night, which is nuts. And a lot of people are freaking out about this. In my opinion, it's the best thing that could happen. It's gonna burn all this down. It's basically bone dry anyway. It's going to expose all that new clean bottom. All that gunk on the bottom will be gone. New vegetation will grow. Hopefully needle grass, maybe some eel grass and what have you. But definitely there's going to be a big needle grass explosion back here. And then when it comes to a higher lake, when Mother Nature puts or gives us the conditions where we have a 15-foot lake, 15 and a half foot lake, 16-foot lake, hopefully not 16, but 15-foot lake, we will be fishing all this new growth back here in the marsh, back behind Tin House and back behind Buckhead Ridge, just like we did, several years ago. A lot of you guys remember I uploaded a video. I had a gentleman, Scott, I believe his name was, from South Carolina. He caught a 34-pound bag with me on a guide trip. That's exactly where we were, was in the very back marsh, back behind Buckhead Ridge. That's how high the lake was. I forget what the lake level was, but this is all great spawning habitat for our fish, and they use it when they're able to get back there. So if you're seeing anything on the news where this fire's, it's Lake Okeechobee's on fire, it's up here in this region of the lake. And I'm really curious to see what it looks like tomorrow, because it's pretty crazy. It's raging for sure. So yeah, Mark, thanks again for this. Is super cool. I mean, he went ahead, like I said, he's done everything, updated everything. So yeah, pretty freaking sweet. This thing is so big, and it's a lot easier to point out stuff. So we will definitely be doing videos here in front of this map. Also, he has the small little, I don't know what they are, but smaller, like cut in half. Like he has the south end maps, the north end maps that are smaller that you can keep in your boat, which is great. That's what I do with mine. It's got on here also. Here's another pretty cool thing. I get a lot of questions from you guys about naming the types of grasses. When I refer to round reeds, when I refer to Kissimmee grass, what's it look like? Mark went ahead and did some of this. So you got needlegrass, eelgrass, bulrush or round reeds, cattails, Kissimmee grass. Gives you examples, some notes and everything on here. Really, really cool stuff. So I couldn't recommend his maps more. And this thing is 100% accurate, which is cool. So yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna go take a shower. I'm gonna go to bed. Might go out on the lake tomorrow. I might not. We'll see how I feel. If my sinuses don't stop, I apologize. Then I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I appreciate you guys clicking on the videos. I mean this. I've been talking to people about this. I've been so fortunate with my customer base over the last 8 years. But really, that's what it comes down to. Is just the last 8 years. I've met some of the greatest people I've ever met, and it's so cool to be able to go fishing for work with people I enjoy hanging out with. And even my new customers, people that I just met, I'm blessed to be able to do this and meet you guys. So thank you guys so much. It's awesome. If you guys have any questions, let me know. If you guys want to book a trip, let me know. My contact info is below. This one went a lot longer than I thought, but Lake Okeechobee's back for now. The fishing is, get out there. They're biting. So I guess yeah, I'm gonna look at this a little bit and I'm going to bed. So I will see you guys on the next one, Tie Lines.